king tides over on the apparently not best coast. It's very angry at that statement, and it's throwing all kinds of waves here and there.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be of help. So, all right, let's keep it moving as we move our way. You know, I got so used to making that pit stop at Gary, Indiana, with to talk to Pierre. He's not here, but I don't know if Pierre, if you're out there listening, we love, and you have some time and you're able to join us. Come and join us because we like having you around. Mm-hmm. And now I get to go to the rock and roll land. It's not the soul or the heartland or whatever it is. It's the soul. It's the rock and roll land. It is Magical Medina land. Didn't it just win some kind of award, like some kind of cool city award or something? Let's ask the one and only Madam Mic Drop herself, Evana Taylor.
Hi all, welcome. Medina is Christmas heaven. It actually, it was voted as like one of the best Christmas town in Ohio or something like that. It is that. We got snow, we've got gazebos. They are filming a movie in Magical Medina.
What movie is it going to be on Hallmark next month?
You know what? I can never remember the name. People keep snapping pictures of the film crew. It's got some famous stars. I don't even know the name of it. I've not seen this film crew, but I'm a hermit.
All right. It's a famous star, which you don't appear to know who it is. And you don't know nobody on the crew. And,
I will let you know. I will keep you posted on what the name of this wonderful movie is. It is a big movie. Cleveland is actually a big movie town.
I hear it rocks. I really hear Cleveland rocks.
It rocks. It rocks. I'm gonna see if I can find out what the name of this movie is.
Go ahead. Do that. Let us know. While you're doing that, let's traverse a little further east to our nation's capital, where positively absolutely nothing is going on, except Mr. Smile himself, Shashi Bellamkonda. And we can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Are you muted?
Uh-oh.
You're not even muted.
Oh, now
you're muted. He's speechless.
I am speechless.
No more.
Speechless no more.
No, I was just saying it's cold in the nation's capital, and I'm only talking about the weather.
Yeah, well, you could be talking about other things, but I digress. But the smile is still there. That's the most important thing, Shashi. The smile is still intact. Yes, absolutely. All right. Speaking of, no, that's not a really good transition. I don't want to speak of his smile. That's for damn sure. Since we don't have a Ramon Ray appearance today because he's at another event, that means I have to traverse all the way 30 minutes up the road, I guess, and bring out the bold one. Some call him the cold one. I'm not even going to call him the old one today. He is the one and only John Colder Ice Lawson. Wow.
Welcome.
What is that? Swamp water?
I did it just for you. It's green juice.
When you're drinking something like that, can you put it in a mug where we can't see it?
Yeah, delicious.
It looks like you're coming straight out the swamp or something. I don't know what.
It looks bad, but it tastes fantastic, honestly.
Well, that really is all that matters.
Yeah, it really is a good smoothie.
Oh, smoothie. Okay.
Smoothie juice. And I get it from what's it called? Aldi. It's a green.
The place you guys keep telling me I need to go to. There's literally 7 minutes away from my house, and I've never ever been there before.
Go visit.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because then you guys say the ice cream was good, something like that.
That chocolate ice cream is crazy.
It's all good.
It's all good.
It's all good.
That's why they call it all D, right? It's
all D.
Right. I know you guys missed something last week, like for the first time in almost a year. I didn't get a chance to ask you a very important question that I know you look forward to every week. So I apologize for not being able to be here last week to ask the question. I know John particularly really loves the question I ask every week. We finally got him to fess up that he really does. All right, so I got to say, in the past 2 weeks, then, although a lot has happened just this week, we don't even really have to. I don't even remember what happened last week because all the stuff that's happening this week. So I'll just maybe tick off a couple of items. Interest rates, 25 point decrease in interest rates. That's a pretty good thing. Unemployment, that's not necessarily going in the right direction. People will get a little worried about that. Stock market was up pretty good until Oracle came to town. And everybody's still worried about that AI bubble, and they got even more worried because Oracle, how much debt they're taking on to finance their AI infrastructure, and people are just a little antsy about it. What else is there? I'm not even going to get into today's news where apparently some photographs from somewhere just were released. I'm not even going to talk about that. So all that in mind, how you feeling about things this week? Who wants to go first? Wait a minute. Before we go first, I got to address Pilar here.
What?
Sir John Lawson.
That's
Sir.
my VA.
Sir. Oh, okay. So she gets paid to call you. All right. Now I'm okay about that. All right. I'll take it down a notch because I was really getting ready to explode on Pilar, who I absolutely do not know. But since she gets
is
paid
the
to call you
best-
sir,
Best person in the world. Do not rail on her.
do not mess with Pilar.
Don't mess with Pilar.
All right. I won't mess with Pilar. Pilar,
Do
you're
not
safe.
mess with Pilar.
You're
But
safe
she
for now.
she is Filipino. She's from the Philippines, and that's kind of part of the culture. So
To call people
I am,
sir. Okay. All right.
I'm her boss, and the way they speak and talk to their employers oftentimes are a little bit different than they are in the U.S. So, sir, for us feels very formal. For them, it's pretty normal and standard. So,
Oh, you did a little rhyme thing there. For us, it's formal, but for them, it's normal. I like that.
oh, I did.
Was that a bar drop?
Good one.
I think
That's a
even
bar
could
drop
that be a
right
bar
there.
drop? Even a can I?
Wow.
All right, good. All right, good. Oh my God! Please tell me she also works for you, Joy Williams. Because if she doesn't, I'm about to go off on her with that sir thing. Just saying.
No, Joy is amazing e-commerce influencer. So no,
Don't mess with Joy.
no, you don't mess with Joy. Kidding me?
I'm gonna have to
That's
mess
my
with
girl,
Joy.
man.
I'm gonna have to mess with Joy a little bit, but not right now. I'll choose my point because let's get to this week or 2 weeks in review thing. So who wants to be going first here? I know Ramon isn't here, but come on, somebody has something to talk about.
Oh, I'll go. I mean, come on. Everything is, you know.
I can feel the
Honestly,
sarcasm.
I'm feeling grateful this week. I'm in better health than I have been in a couple of weeks, and I feel good about that part. As far as the concerning the country
yes.
and the state of things, everything's kind of really on the flake. It's like it only takes a little push, and all of a sudden we're over the cliff. And that's the way I'm feeling right now. We're just right on the edge going into Christmas, which is not a great time to feel that way.
How is, from an e-commerce perspective, how are things shaping up for this final push into the holiday season?
You know, honestly, I wish I could say bad things about it just to line up, but I can't. So
that means it's
actually going
good.
really
Things
good.
are going good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
Things
that.
are going-
That's
Well,
what
you
we
know,
want.
because that is what we want, but I do think there's you know, it's a bad signal. You know, it's not the best signal to go off of and say, hey, consumer spending is up and we're going to have a great Christmas and don't worry about recession ideas. I don't think it's a good thing. It's not a great indicator right now.
All right, before we go to somebody else, Pilar, please, you don't need to explain. I don't want you to explain because I felt good about you calling him Serb just because he was paying you to. Now that I know that that's not the case, I might have to rail on you. I just wanted to warn you just in case. All right, who should go next?
Let's even up. What's going on?
What's going on? It is a gorgeous day here in Cleveland. It is perfect Christmas weather. I'm just going to talk about what's on the court as I was talking about my little town of Medina. Thank you, Leland. He looked it up too. The film that they're doing here is called Carousel with Chris Pine, about a doctor trying to connect with his daughter. That's all we know. And to that end, I get a lot of, I'm in the phase of when everything outside of me that's very far away is overwhelming. I like to focus on the things that I can control, things that we can control. And I really put my focus more on local businesses. And as far as I can tell, our little town has opened up a handful of new businesses. Every day I drive past this brand new, privately owned boutique hotel is making progress. It is 25 degrees today, right now, this morning, and they are working on that hotel. There are men up there. They have built a brand new supermarket. We call it the Big Fridge because it is like 0.3 miles from my house.
That. The Big Fridge.
The Big Fridge, and it's featuring local farmer, like local local products, local brands, nostalgic brands. That makes me feel good. I think that when I put my focus on big conglomerates and those types of things, I get overwhelmed. When I look closer to home, I feel more optimism. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm not saying any of those things. I am saying that I'm living in a bubble of Christmas spirit right now. And I'll just leave it there. And I'll throw it over to Leland.
Bubble of Christmas spirit.
Bubble of Christmas spirit. That sounds delightful.
Brings us down.
And I'm pretty sure that encapsulates your town. It's just like a bubble of Christmas spirit. Just snow and everything.
A snow globe.
It is.
So, I mean, when you're talking about the economy of like a big, massive, I like even as a perspective, because when you're talking about the economy of a big, huge country, it's really hard because there are going to be pockets where, it's not necessarily as good. And then there's pockets like Medina where it just, things are growing. There's things growing in my area too. I mean, we just got a Chipotle and an Indian restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
We are growing. I mean, that right there is upward trajectory. It's we're getting, it's really good for us. And there may be some pockets where industry has fallen even more, and you can probably see towns that are probably falling and slipping. So I think that's what you kind of got to look at when it comes to your, small business and, your area. And how can you pivot if you are in one of those downturns, and how can you take advantage of the upturns? If you're in an area where you're seeing massive economic growth, well, how can I hate to use the word take advantage of, but it's the best thing to kind of describe, getting in on it and profiting off of it and growing your business. And then that's what I see. But as a whole for the economy of America, it's like, we got a 25-point reduction, and that's good. I guess a good indicator. It's not, I mean, if the economy were like on the edge of recession, I seriously doubt that would have been released. So hopefully that's a good indicator that, we're not. And I would say it massively depends on who's you're listening to, because I haven't been hearing a lot of doom and gloom myself. So if you're, listening to potentially one side and they're saying it's all doom and gloom, maybe get, a good overall view of both sides. I don't know. Shashi.
Good. I've been like an ostrich the last 2 weeks, not worrying about the news, but I have something exciting to share, right? Like we hear vibe coding, we hear like, hey, AI will help you get productive. And I wanted to try that on my own. So I have a few blogs that are about 20 years old. So I'm taking this conversation in a different direction. So if a small business owner wants to publish content, usually it is like, you need a web developer and everything. But I find that if you use AI, you can actually style it much better. And that has been incredibly useful for me. But at the same time, right, like this is the positive thing of what I've been seeing. Whatever you say about the economy and which party is saying what, if you are above 45 and you lose your job, it's hell. And people are losing jobs not because, and it's very difficult when you lose a job to think about, right, like what did I do wrong? But it's not them. It's like companies are just reducing people because they overhired, and in some cases they overpaid too. I mean, if you think about salaries in some parts of the country, ridiculous. But now when they come back into the employment sphere, they're going to stop spending. The businesses that depend on them are going to feel the pinch a little bit. But it's not a political question. It's more of an economic question, right? The advice I think people should be thinking about is, as you grow older, you have to have a backup plan. Is this going to be a consulting thing? And it could happen no matter who's the president, right? The sad thing sometimes is like, of all the things that we should be having healthcare, I think everybody should agree, like especially people who don't have jobs, who have paid into social security and taxes for a long time, should have some kind of and small businesses should have some kind of a fallback, right? Like, hey, we'll take care of you if you are in trouble. That's my very weird two sides of it.
Interesting. No, that's good. I'm glad that we were able to bring some positivity into that. Well, I think one thing that it feels is getting ramped up, at least it just feels to me, I guess, like it's getting ramped up and ratcheted up, and more attention is the healthcare cost situation. It does feel like people are now focusing more on that. Maybe it's because there a lot more people have started getting what their bill is going to be starting January 1st. And some people can't afford it. Some people that I guess could afford it, some of their healthcare insurance companies are actually pulling out of the states they live in. So either way, you're getting disrupted, either because it's too expensive, or I guess the insurance companies don't like what's going on in a particular state and they just pull out of it. So I think you're seeing more and more focus on that, more and more personal stories of people getting those new bills. I mean, I got mine, and I don't even know how these credit things work, but the top line number before any kind of credits go on, mine is $1,200, a little over 1,200. That's just me, and I'm in relatively good shape. $1,200. Now my net monthly cost is like 530. I'm like, why are these prices so high? I mean, there's credits, and there's the what the stuff is outside just the initial cost. $1,200 for a single dude. I mean,
is that per month? That's your
per month.
Wow.
Matter of fact,
yeah, that sounds wrong.
Nope,
all
that's
right.
That's right.
It is right.
Yeah.
You're
Oh my
seeing that
gosh.
too? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to do this. I took a screenshot of this sucker because I sent it to my sister. Like, do you believe this stuff? So let me see if I can grab that. Yep, there it is. And I'm going to download file so I can show it to you guys. So this is what my bill is looking like. Because I'm like, damn, if I'm getting this, I ain't the only one that's getting hit over the head with this stuff. All right, let me see if I
Wow.
can bring
So
it
as
up.
you're seeing that, right, there is like what people really need, the basics: shelter, food, and medicine. And that should be something that people should not have to worry about.
But that's why I'm really curious as to why are people. Well, it seems like it should be even more top of mind as we go through this whole affordability thing, because that seems to be the new word of the day, affordability. And there is no way in most people's minds that seeing your health care, sometimes it's not only doubling, it's actually tripling for folks. And it feels like they're starting to get a little bit more urgency on this. But even yesterday, they tried to pass 2 healthcare bills. I guess one driven by the Republicans, one driven by the Democrats. Of course, they both failed because they just don't seem to agree on this. And eventually, a lot of people are going to get hurt, either because they can't afford what they're getting, what's coming up for them, or they make the determination that we can't even afford health insurance. And so they just let it lapse because they have to take care of the other important things. I'm just stunned that we're in the richest country in the world and people are having to make choices like that. Do I pay my health insurance or do I eat? Or do my kids eat? And I still think, even though I'm feeling it's ratcheting it up, I still don't think it's doing enough to make people actually act on this, because there's no reason for us as a country to be in that kind of position.
But there are alternatives. And like every downturn, what I find really fascinating is there are entrepreneurial doctors coming up. And it's creating this new industry of, are they calling it direct pay? There is a phrase for that, where doctors are creating partnerships. They're absolutely not taking insurance. They're creating collaborative partnerships with labs, with other doctors, and so on and so forth, where you can, for, I think the average is about 100, 150 a month. And then they have like membership plans, just like a membership to anything. And there are people who have gone this way and are really loving it. And this has kind of been going on for a while. Back in, oh my God, like 2010 or something like that, I had a client that was a medical billing company. They had a medical billing software. And I was astonished at the extra skills that doctors had to have, how hard they work to get paid. This was something that I didn't understand until I got involved with that client business. And I think this has been coming for a long time. And so just to keep the positive side of things up, I think that we are seeing a rise of a new kind of entrepreneur. The sad part about that is that there are lots of doctors who, have done enough. Right? Not everyone has that entrepreneurial bug or wiring, but I think that's something that I've seen more now than ever.
All right, I'm going to show this now that I have it. It's going to cover our faces, but that's okay. All right. This is literally what I got. And as you said, oh, so it's 1284 a monthly. That's the top line. Just me. I don't have any children. I don't have a wife. It's just me. I don't even have any pets. It's just me. $1,284. That's actually more than my monthly mortgage. Just to let everybody know,
Oh,
I
okay.
pay less in my monthly mortgage than what they are. The top line coverage number is. Now, I still don't know what the electric APTC credit is, but I'm very thankful for it.
I think that's the replacement for Obamacare.
Well, you know, this, if you notice, this is Georgia. It's not on the affordable or the Obamacare. This
Right,
is
but
Georgia
that's
Extra.
what they put in.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah,
think.
this is
But
a
I'll
state
look it
thing,
up.
right?
It's
Yeah,
the
this
state
is
version.
it's a state exchange. It just kicked in like this year.
Yeah,
So
that's the replacement.
so
the
I'm
Georgia
guessing,
replacement.
yeah, Georgia has their own kind of
Advanced
credit.
premium tax credit.
Okay, so this is the
They do.
state level. But man, what if you're in a state that runs on the Obamacare exchanges and that Obama tax credit that is lapsing out? That's the only thing that's saving people. That's the only thing that's saving me. I mean, I don't want to pay $1,284 a month.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the net premium is something I can manage very easily. But man, if it wasn't for that, I'd be like, brother, can you spare a health plan? I mean, so and it's just me on that. And I am in a state that opted out of the exchange. So maybe that's why the impact on me isn't as great as it's going to be on those states that were on the exchange. But those are numbers that are incredible for regular folk to deal with.
Yep.
But isn't that like, let's say someone like yourself, I mean, I would imagine, isn't that going to cause people to just bounce and not get any insurance, right? Which of course causes
Yes.
those premiums to go up even more, which in essence will kill whatever is happening. I don't know. And then I think the other proposal was that we go right back to what we had before, right? Like, oh yeah, we're going to give you back the money so that you can give it to the insurance companies, and the insurance companies create two pools, like as if that makes sense, right? The high risk pool, which is insanely expensive, the low risk pool. I just don't know. This is why I talked about these direct pay. This industry is growing like crazy. They are expecting this to be something like I don't know, 19 billion, 44 billion by 2034 is what they're expecting this industry to be. It's literally creating a whole new health sector, because which would you rather do? Like if I were on this exchange and saw this, I would bounce. You know, because we're relatively healthy, and I would just try to find a direct pay concierge service and do that. And then maybe get like a rider of some sort, some kind of catastrophic something.
But think about what you're saying there. Everybody individually is going to have to try to figure all that stuff out. And we all know everybody has a different situation, and it becomes way too complicated if everybody is having to do all of that. I don't think, and I'm trying to make sure I don't want to get political about this, but it's kind of hard because there's certain.
This is totally political.
I think there's a reason why they want to get rid of it, and we all know it has faults, but to try to get rid of it 70 times because of what it's called, that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that's not
Well,
really. It's not really that.
It's the
It's
nickname.
part of it. It's part of it.
Okay, it's the nickname.
Get rid of it. I don't care.
The actual
Get
name
rid of
is Affordable Health Care Act. And
Yeah, Affordable Care Act. Yeah.
Well, but it made it only affordable to certain people, and those people were those who were high risk, who had history of cancer, or
It only
smoked
made it
themselves.
affordable to people that needed it. Let's make it very clear what you're saying.
Well, I'm going to say that it made it unaffordable for everyone else. So when that went into effect, my insurance bill went from $250 a month for my whole family to $1,200 a month, which was way more than my mortgage at that point for my entire family. And it basically pooled everyone and said, you can't judge based off of your health concerns, and to the equivalent of like house insurance. Hey, you're in a flood zone that floods very often, you're going to have to pay very high flood insurance. Hey, you smoked yourself 2-3 packs a day, you're going to have higher health insurance.
Or if you have some kind of a condition that has nothing to do with what you did to your body, but you're predisposed to certain things. And back in the day, if you had a health insurance and all of a sudden you came up with some kind of condition, they drop you. One of the benefits of the Affordable Care Act is they couldn't do that anymore, which is why prices were going up, because they couldn't just let you go. They had to still cover you, and that kind of drove prices up, even though prices were already going up every year anyway, even without that stuff. So I don't know. I think the unfortunate part of this is nobody thinks that, at least most people, I think that you put a policy in place in 2010. It's like we have a constitution. You make amendments because things change over time. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the kind of the way that they looked at this Obamacare thing. Certain people, it was never meant to be like perfect right from the start. It was really meant to be amended over time as things go on, but it's never done that. It's always been, what do they call that? Rip and replace or something like that. So even though there might be some good things about it, they want to take it completely out and then replace it. And a lot of the good things would have been part of the replacement, and a lot of the things that needed to be addressed would have been addressed if they only would agree on this stuff, as opposed to like each side kind of picking their side. Like, we don't want it ripped out and replaced. We just want to make it better and use what we have. And then the other guy, we need to rip it out from the roots and replace it. And we've been having this argument for 15 years. That's my challenge with all of the sides. There should be ways that both of these groups can work together to figure out what we can do now. And because we're not going to start from ground zero 15 years later. That doesn't make any sense to me. There are some good things to it. Why don't we try to just build on that instead of rip everything out and then replace it?
What I would love to see is a different way of going about it. I do kind of want to rip it from the roots, just because from the beginning, it's kind of screwed me over. I mean, I came in and I had a really nice plan, and it quadrupled my right from the gate. And you, Brent, with the old system, you're healthy, even though you're getting up there in age, you're still healthy, you might actually get a good rate. You wouldn't be paying $1,200. But I would love to see, for people who are healthy, be able to get the good rates and not have to pay triple, quadruple, and just to be able to spread out the damage. But we could have potentially a social option, a government ran option for those who can't get insurance through that old kind of system, and potentially be able to buy Medicaid or something like that at a rate that is proportionate to their income. And so, and I would even maybe add in an element of, well, you're in a bigger city, your rent is a little bit bigger, so maybe your income after your rent or something like that. That way, there's that social option. You can use the network of hospitals that are within Medicaid. And then people who can do health insurance could do health insurance. Potentially a win-win.
I think what you just laid out is I would say doable if both sides agree, but there are certain people that don't want to see certain aspects of what you just laid out. I mean, that's the challenge of all this. But in the end, it's us as citizens. We're the ones that are being forced to figure out a choice between health and not suffering by way of starvation, or dare I say, losing a loved one because they can't afford to pay a premium.
I had to do that when I got faced with that $1,200 a month bill. I went with a different option. I went with a co-op, where it was exempt from the Obamacare rules, and so I paid $250 a month for my family, and it was nothing fancy. I didn't get deductibles or anything like that, but they would, like, after, like, if I were to get a bill that was over $1,000, then they would just pay the rest. But little minor doctor visits or anything like that, no, wouldn't cover. I got very good at, like, telehealth and picking out the best prices for little inpatient surgeries or something like that. So yeah, it was a little bit more work, but I saved a lot of money in the end.
I like that system. In fact, I have a couple of thoughts on this. The first one is it's very confusing. Like, even if you forget about ACA or everything, getting medical insurance is very confusing. And as you go towards, like, the Medicaid and whatever the retirement thing is called, it gets even difficult.
Oh, the healthcare spending account?
No, what do you get after you're 65, right?
Oh, it's social Medicare.
Medicare. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't even tell you the name, so that's very confusing, right? I like, Leland, the model for co-op seems to be good. I've seen a lot of models that people have tried, entrepreneurs. One is like $100 a month and don't worry about anything. The insurance companies will fight hard to just kill that, right? I used to go to a doctor who went to a concierge service. The concierge service was you pay $100 a month for yourself and your insurance. So it was like you're going to pay an additional $100 just because the advantage was the doctor is going to see less patients. I had to leave the doctor and go to another one, which was quite good. The doctors don't like any of the options because they're not getting the money at all. It's going to, like, third party, they call them PBMs. It's going to this. Now, if the true value of insurance is like, hey, I'll go see my neighborhood doctor, I'll pay them like their per visit fees. If you look at your bill, the doctor will charge $300, the insurance company will pay $47. But if you go without insurance, the doctor is going to charge you at least the $300 amount, right? So it's not like you can choose an option. So what's happening between the 300 and the 75, right? So it's the 47. The economy works on transactions. I don't know how many billions the healthcare insurance industry is, but it's quite big. It's almost like too big to fail. So if tomorrow, if somebody came and said, like, hey, let's get rid of all insurance, your insurance will only be if your bill is more than $2,500 a month, we'll take care of it. Or you get into some serious sickness, we'll take care of it. But if you're going for regular, hey, I have a headache or I have fever, you're on your own, which is kind of the model, Leland, you said you were part of, right? It's too complicated now to change anything. It's got to be somebody who comes in and says that, look, here's the limit. I think, Leland, you laid it out well. If you don't earn more than this income, this is what your insurance is going to be, no matter which company you go to and what kind of thing you do, your health is assured. And there is no complicated Section A, Section B, Section C, COBRA, you have a job, you don't have a job. It should all be like a unified thing based on your economic situation. That's what I think.
No other thoughts?
I mean, I just want to add one more thing, like single parents who lose their jobs and they have to go for insurance without some kind of an affordable care plan, their life is really disturbed.
I will say in most cases, if you do lose your job, you can actually just get like Medicaid pretty easily. I guess it could depend on the state, but
Yep.
usually it's like, well, I just lost my job. Oh, okay. Well, let's get you on it.
Really? Because most of the times I hear people have to go to Cobra, and that's even more expensive than what they have through their companies.
That has changed with ACA.
Oh, it has?
Ireland is right. Like if you have no income, you go on Medicaid.
Wow. I had
If you have no
idea.
income.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Again, if you've lost your job, so I mean,
it's not just if you lost your job.
Well, so even
you
that's
don't
a
just
big
lose
deal.
your job and suddenly get health care.
So
There would be people all kind of people with health care.
So once again,
Right now.
why do you want to throw out everything if stuff like that is a good thing versus, all right, how do we strengthen the good things and get rid of the bad things? It just feels like there's no common sense going on because everybody's in their corners. And that's the sad thing. So Christmas season, in addition to like trying to buy gifts and stuff, you got to figure this stuff out, which I find really
Jesus.
ridiculous. But unfortunately, the people that make the decisions in this country, they don't seem to care. And I'm saying that on both sides. Which
I mean,
is,
it is very
they
complicated.
get premium health care. The health care that those congressmen and senators and anyone in government, whoo boy, do they get good health care.
I think everyone should. One of the things I wish they would do is if you're going to serve in government, you have got to live at least 1 year, just like your least constituent, whatever that lifestyle is for the least bucket of constituents. That's where you got to live.
or we get the same health care that they get.
Well, that would be well. You know what? Something is occurring to me. I want to bring this back to small business and stuff like that. And I find this incredibly just incongruous and hypocritical. For whatever reason, we feel like we want to run the government as if it were a business. If that were the case, which it's not, but if that were the case, one of the things about this conversation that I'm always thinking about is what is one of the first things we tell every small business to do, right? Have a mission, do your core values, all that other kind of stuff. And our behavior shows, and I'm okay with either one. We just all need to decide, is healthcare a right or a privilege? If it's a right, and we don't want to see people dying in the streets or whatever that looks like, right? Like Shashi was saying, right? You living, health, and food, right? Shelter, health, and food. If that's the case, then work this thing out. Every country on the planet, every developed country on the planet seems to have figured it out. No other country on the planet says, hey, let's do what the US is doing. That is so awesome. Nobody says that. So we clearly feel that healthcare is a privilege, and we just don't want to say it because it's not nice. We don't want to say. We just think it's okay that some people die in the streets.
Exactly. Just say that.
That. That's what we're doing.
That's I mean, and all these other arguments about, well, my health care and I live good. So I ate right and I'm 21. That's you're basically saying, I don't care about the other people. Let them,
Well,
eat
there's
cake.
a lot of that. There's a
Right. That's
All
really
right.
what it's all about.
Marie Antoinette over
That's
here.
what our country's quote unquote corporate culture is. We don't, just say that. We don't care about other people.
They don't care.
And if that's
People
the
don't
case,
care.
then you have
And
to
that's
be
why
okay.
we are where we are right now.
Correct.
Healthcare is about to run out, and America really doesn't care. If we cared about it, our politicians would do something. They don't do anything because we don't care. There's enough of us that don't care that allow them to sit in their little high horses and do what they do. No, y'all don't care. You don't care enough. Take responsibility for your government. The government is a reflection of you. It's not external to you. That's so ridiculous. We sit around and act like government is some other entity. No, it's a mirror of the way you feel and the way you act and the way you participate. You don't care. And this is what you get.
We
The
think a
last
lot of
word
things
is
are
important.
okay.
Participate, right? Go vote.
Yeah, they don't want to participate.
Go and vote. Go to meetings. Express your feelings. Right.
Or you can just run your business the way you want to run your business. You can run your business with your values. I just saw a video of some small business owner woman who has decided, I forget, Oak and Willow, or I forget what the name of it was. And this business is like 6 years old. And she said, I decided consciously to run my business as like a value-based business. And she's got rules around how people are paid and how they do bonuses and how they do healthcare. She's got these, like, how she set this thing up. And she said everyone kept saying that I was going to fail miserably and that I didn't understand what it took to be successful, to be a business. And they are in year 6 more profitable than ever, doing things like, giving people all kinds of healthcare, vacation, all the things, right? Working together. I mean, there's like this whole list that people might call quote unquote left leaning or whatever you want to call that. She's calling it profitable. That's what she's calling it. And I think the lesson for small business is, again, I'm back to where I started. It's hard to deal with what's outside yourself, but see what you can do to
what you can control.
Yes, exactly. Focus on what you can control.
Hey, Brent, what was your thinking about Around the World in a Day?
It's a Prince album. I just got my latest.
Oh, okay.
But I want to get to this before we get out of here, because it's a big deal. It's just not. I was going to say it's nothing political, but you never know these days. I want to see how you feel about this. Disney and OpenAI making there's $1 billion. Well, Disney making $1 billion investment in OpenAI, and OpenAI gets access to using Disney characters in their Sora video generator. Are you the pro, con, excited, don't care? Give me whatever you think about it.
This
My
seems
biggest thing.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that's going to come with massive restrictions. Mickey Mouse is not going to be able to do anything bad, or he's not going to be hitting the bottle or something like that, or he's not going to get arrested by the police or something.
Yeah, I mean, this seems very reverse, right? Like usually OpenAI will pay Disney to license the characters, and this is reverse. I like the Adobe thing better, where now anybody can go to OpenAI and say Adobe Photoshop, remove the background, and use things like that, which, this seems very confusing to me.
Mr. Lawson?
No, just great. More trash.
Slop.
Yeah.
That's bad. You know what? I'm so glad you said it, because that's exactly my first thought was, now we're going to be even more ridiculous stuff. Like, all the memes that I've gotten over the last month, people using Sora to make fun of big, heavy people in weird ways. And then there's the meme now where people have these really weird deformities that they're creating with Sora. And then it's always these weird things, like it's like an African preacher that is laying hands on the weird deformity, and then all of a sudden small animals start pouring out of their body. I mean, this is what people spend their time doing with this stuff. So yeah, just imagine what's going to happen now when they try to make Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or Captain America do all sorts of stuff or put themselves in weird positions. Unfortunately, this is what we get when a brand new development like this happens. It's unbelievable what we want to do with some really, really cool technology.
This actually, it makes sense. I just connected a couple of dots here. A couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago or something like that, there's a show called Owl House. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's kind of a newer cartoon. It's on Disney Plus, and the director of it just went on a tirade and said, "I'm done with Disney. I don't care about my show anymore. Steal it. I want you to steal it off of the internet. Don't support Disney. They are trash." And she went out and said that basically Disney is starting to go in the direction in which on Disney Plus, you can ask it for shows. You can prompt it and say, I want a show about X. I want a show about Y. And she got ticked off because, well, she's a director, a writer. It's going to be taking work away from her, real creators. And she got very upset about that. And Disney kind of still wanted this to be hush hush. And so my guess is that this is Disney play in investing in Sora to be able to utilize that technology in their Disney Plus plan to be able to let users create their own shows. And right now I just connected those dots, and so yeah.
Once again, making me pay you to do your job. And like, we think it's great. What is wrong? Like, I'm so tired of paying people to do the job they're supposed to be doing for me.
But people want to be able to make stuff with these characters in them. That's the whole. I mean, if you look at what goes on, like on YouTube, all these channels are created because people don't just want to play the music; they want to react. They want to build their own presence online by reacting to the stuff that everybody likes to listen to. And that's kind of what, and then they get all these different content strikes because the people who actually make the music don't want you to use it unless they get paid. And then they get angry because they don't want to pay. Why can't you let us create? This is kind of like some kind of middle ground, I guess. Let some people use Mickey Mouse. And like Leland said, you're not going to let him like shoot somebody, straight in the head or something like that. There's going to be some ground rules, but people don't even want the ground rules. They want to be able to do whatever they want to do with the stuff that's out there because they think that's going to allow them to, I don't know, get famous or make some money or whatever. I don't know how you get around, human behavior and always trying to use things for themselves and not necessarily for the betterment of anything. I know that sounds like pie in the sky, but this is good. All we're going to get is a bunch of trash. I don't see anything positive that's coming out of it.
Of course you're going to get trash. So have you guys heard of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, the movie?
Mm-mm.
So Winnie the Pooh went out of copyright recently. And so a studio, as soon as it went out of copyright, made a horror film called Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Utilizing the characters Winnie the Pooh from the original book that came out and is now copyright free. And then Steamboat Willie, the cartoon with Mickey Mouse, Steamboat Willie, went out of copyright. Horror movie based off of that. So yeah, you're right. You're going to get trash. People are inevitably going to take it and make trash. But then eventually you're going to get some good stuff out of it. But yeah.
Did you guys hear about the tale of two commercials? The McDonald's commercial that was AI that got pulled. It was terrible. Everybody hated it. And then the French supermarket commercial about the wolf that went vegetarian so he could have dinner with the forest animals. Big hit. That one was a big hit. And the short Skippy was that the McDonald's commercial had like human beings in it, obviously like AI, whereas the French grocery store commercial was sort of like what would you call it? Like a Pixar animals doing things, right? So it seemed like people really, and it was good story, and it was good storytelling.
Yep. All right, we gotta get ready to. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look who's here. You better rewatch and take notes too. So before we get out of here, I want to ask you guys about the man or the time person of the year, and this is
wow,
that was a perfect fit.
Look, they're building.
Yeah, so AI basically these are the what is it, seven or eight people the heads of the, I guess, the AI technology race, and they're recreating that old, I think they were building the what's that, the Empire State Building. I think this is what those dudes are like eating lunch on a beam like that, like I don't know how many 100 feet up in the air. Do you think that AI, basically what they're basically saying is AI is the person of the year, and these guys are the human kind of replication or representatives of that? Do you think AI should be named the person of the year? Because that's really what they're talking about. Or is this just ridiculous?
I want to know, did they use AI generation to be able to make this image?
No, they actually got all those dudes out there.
Yeah, and all their boards freaked out.
I mean, when you think about this, these guys are like representing like the top 8 companies on the S&P 500, basically. And if OpenAI was public, it probably wouldn't be from a market cap that big, but just stick with me. So these folks are they're basically saying the future of our whole economy kind of rides on these folks that represent those companies that are the ones leading the S&P 500. Do you think that that's enough to be merited people of the year?
I guess because it is the biggest thing going on. I mean, it's like, how many times did we talk about AI in the last year?
Easier to say, how many times did we not talk about it?
I mean, it is the big thing. It is the thing that is revolutionizing the world. So I would put it. It's like, if you could make them the people of the year, then yeah, I guess. But to actually, you don't say AI is the person of the year. That's like saying, plutonium, when it was discovered or whatever, was person of the year. And it's like, no, it's an inanimate object.
Yeah, I think it's the architects of AI that is the person of the year. So it's the people.
It used to be person of the year, and it still says person of the year. Yeah. And I see like 8 people up there.
Well, I mean, it does say the architects of AI is the person of the year. So, I mean, it is there.
Yeah, they're stretching.
I think this picture is a little scary, both because of how it is plus what it means, right? Like Brent, you said, how much of the stock market is controlled by these people? That's a lot of power in the hands of a few individuals. Definitely something to think about, where we don't want 2008 to be ever repeated, right? And when it becomes too big to fail, like it's going to cause a lot of problems, to unintended consequences to small businesses, the people who are not directly involved in any of these things. So time doesn't always put a positive person of the year. I think they've had. So I think choosing this theme is right, because it's saying like, hey guys, you need to pay attention to the architects of AI. So I would say,
I think I definitely think you got to pay attention to them, but have they earned the right today?
Honor. It's not an honor, I think.
I like Shashi's because a certain mustachioed man back in the day,
we know,
person of the year. So I mean, it's like it's not always, he was the most influential person at that point, not for good reasons, but he had the biggest impact in the world.
I don't know what year he was named that, or was that leading up to World War II, or was that before? Because he was getting a lot of notoriety before the war broke out.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to check that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Thanks to these people of the year, I was able to ask AI what the criteria were for person of the year, and they gave me a nice little roundup of the Ebola fighters were the person of the year in 2014. The personal computer was machine of the year in 1982. So like somebody said here, that person was 1938, 1930. So it doesn't have to be a quote unquote good and noble person or inanimate object. It is truly just the influence. It's really an influencer award, right? And I also wonder if it speaks to, I guess it's timely. And it makes me wonder, like, I think I would be okay with it if there weren't other things going on. I don't know. It's just telling us what's influenced us over the year, and it's accurate.
I mean,
It doesn't matter how you feel about it.
you're right. You picked up on that very well. Like, of all the 8 people, many of them were influential in deciding the political results, not directly, but through the science that is there, right? Like, I mean, if one of them decides, like, hey, I'm going to make Leyland believe in XYZ, they could actually do that. A Leyland strong person is going to mentally resist it, but yeah, but like when I talk to people, especially older than me, I mean, they tell me everything that they hear, and I keep telling them it's okay, use it for entertainment, but always check, right? Because all these conspiracy theories are nice on YouTube and Facebook and everything. But yeah.
All right. I actually
And,
have a
Brent, sorry, I won't be here for almost 4 weeks, so I'm going on a trip. So enjoy my absence.
Are you and your son going, or a family thing,
The
or?
whole family is going, I think.
Very
My
cool.
kids, yeah.
So I'm going to leave you all with a quiz,
Yeah. Okay.
since we just talked about the importance of these companies and these people at these companies. So the top hyperscalers, and then unless you watched something yesterday, you won't know what the answer to this is. The top hyperscalers, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Meta, and Oracle, raised approximately how many billions in dollars in debt in 2025 alone to finance all this AI data center build out infrastructure they're doing?
358.
550.
I was going to say 321.
Okay, so I said just this year alone, and just the amount of debt financing, not all their spending.
Well, you got $3 signs, and that tells me it's a 3-digit number.
Yeah. That's, go for
Yeah,
That's how my
I
brain
guess it could be, but
I'm guessing it's lower based off of your reaction. So let's go
You
with
must be like,
123.
95.
I don't know, 42.
you resort whenever anything's in doubt, you resort right back to 42. 95.
I'll be right at some point.
Leland?
123.
All right, so we got 123, we got 95, we got 42. All right, slightly different numbers than you were originally doing, which
Well,
I think
because-
because Leland, you were almost perfect. 121 just this year. That doesn't mean they're not going to borrow more going forward, but just this year, just those 5 companies, 121 billion in debt financing for building out their AI infrastructure. That's
I thought they all had so much of cash. Why would they? I mean, probably
well,
some like
some
free
of
money.
them do. Some of them do. Like Microsoft prints money. I think Google prints money. And when I say print, I mean 70 billion dollars in quarterly revenue and about $20 billion in quarterly earnings. So they can print money, and I think they use a little debt financing, but it's just a small percentage of the overall. Whereas the problem that Oracle has run into and has caused a little bit more chaos in the AI bubble talk is Oracle is, I think, maybe the only one of these groups that is getting a large percentage of the money that they're investing in their AI infrastructure in debt financing, whereas the other companies are using their own earnings basically to build it out. But the fact that Oracle is doing debt financing, and there's only a handful of companies that are really driving this AI investment further and further, when one of those 5 is doing something that's a little bit more risky than the others to build out, it causes all this talk that's going on around the AI bubble. So when Oracle came out with their earnings the other day, and it showed even more of a percentage of debt financing going into their build out, it caused all the havoc we're seeing the last couple of days in the stock market.
Yeah. I asked Gemini this question. Gemini says 100 billion.
I got mine for Gemini too, but it's all in how you ask the question.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, that's
the
kind of
way I
scary
asked the
right there.
question, and have you all used the Gemini on Chrome by any chance?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So it will read the screen and it'll say like, here's the answer to the question, but it takes a long time. So I can't answer the quiz question, and I don't also. I do it afterwards. So it said, hey, I can read the screen and this is what it says.
So this is your the answer you got from them.
Yeah, I think they were only talking about bonds.
Yeah, Oracle put out like billions of dollars more.
Yeah.
And so so that's what's feeding into some of the uncertainty and chaos around the AI is, and I think it was you even that kind of pointed out a couple of weeks ago. All the money seems to be circular. It's like it goes from here to there to there to there, and then back here again. And as long as you're using your own money to do that, everybody's okay, because if you're using your own earnings, that means, wow, they really believe in this stuff and they have the means to do it. But when you start borrowing money to build this stuff out, and we're talking about tens of billions of dollars that you are borrowing, then you become a little bit more suspicious as to, well, when are we going to get the payoff? When are you going to be able to, and then the other part of that is all the money and all the kind of stock market valuations of only a handful of these infrastructure companies are the ones you're seeing their valuations increase. And even the enterprise application vendors haven't been able to tell a story that says, well, yeah, we bought all this stuff and we put it into our applications, and because we are getting that, we're building all this stuff and people are giving us even more and more money. So they can't tell a story yet of how they're monetizing all this money they're pouring into this. Now it's going to come eventually. Well, it's going to come, and I think what we're going to see is there's going to be some really big winners, like kind of like a few really huge winners, and there's going to be a lot of more huge losers before everything kind of shakes out and becomes a much more steadier kind of situation.
Here's my question, Brent. This is the part I truly don't understand. That's why I'm asking it, right? Okay, so these guys are all making these investments and they're building data centers and all this stuff. And I've heard that those 8 companies in the S&P 500 have very different outlooks, right? Then if they separate those 8, and then you have the 492 that these are like 2 different markets, completely different markets.
Yeah.
And the part that I don't understand is, by virtue of them building these data centers and things, these investments that they're making, is that automatically flowing to us users, to the mainstream? Is that like automatically happening? Right?
No, not automatically. I mean,
because I'm asking, because when we had the .com bubble, right? They were promoting all this stuff, but like the chain was broken, right? You have to have the mainstream adopt that technology. Do you understand where my question is? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, let's put it like this. Back when in the late 90s, early 2000s, when the internet was all the rage and everybody was getting online, all that stuff, and you had companies like Cisco and WorldCom that were funneling big money into building out these pipes, like under the ocean, the oceanic, from continent to continent build. And everybody, when they first announced it, they're like, oh, this is going to be great. They're going to make so much money. I invested a couple of hundred. I bought 100 shares of Cisco myself. And when we got to the point where, people started to question, why do they need to do all of that? Why do they need to spend all of that? And then, the .com bubble burst. And, Cisco still has never gotten to the point where I'm talking just from the stock price. It has never gotten even close to that. Now they're still around, and eventually all that stuff that those companies did, some of them, the companies didn't even get a chance to see how the impact was because they basically went belly up. But the actual infrastructure build out, we're reaping the benefits of that stuff now.
Yeah.
The companies that were actually, like Cisco is trying to come back, but we're talking 30 years since they hit their highs. WorldCom is gone. It's a memory. But the technology itself and the infrastructure that they actually built for us is what's allowing all this stuff to happen now. Now, there's going to be some companies that are doing the exact same thing from the AI perspective, that are putting tens of hundreds of billions of dollars into these data center and infrastructure build outs. Some of these folks aren't even going to be around when it actually really takes hold and we're actually able to reap all the benefits of this. But that's kind of like the cycle that we go through. Companies see a big opportunity and they put all their money into it, and some of them, before it actually becomes and flourishes and becomes what they thought it was going to become all around, they're gone because they didn't have enough time or enough money to do what needed to be done to get to that point. But they were like the early visionaries of all this stuff, and if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't get there. It's just unfortunate for them that they didn't survive all the stuff they did.
It's part of the.
I have to leave. Great seeing you, everybody. This was a great chat.
Yeah, let's end it here. Let's do that. Let's go out for the week. Thanks everybody for joining us. We will be back next Friday. Who knows what we'll be talking about next? I don't know. But enjoy your weekend, and we will see you then. Bye.
Bye. Good stuff.